Hello, guys. Welcome back. So, this is part three of the Twitter bot series. On part one, by the time we left on part one, everything was working fine. However, the challenge was that when we retweeted and liked, I realized I was liking and retweeting my own tweets, which is not what we want. We don't want to be retweeting and liking your own tweets. Definitely it looks weird. So I realized that the issue was right here. And so the tweet.user.name, uh, initially I was using it to reference the handle, but this instead references your account name. For example, if we go back to my account, so this is so tweet dot user dot name references this and not this. If you want this is a screen name. However, I realize that so what happens if you change if you change your screen name or actually the name of your account, because you can just do it and then everything is going to break because then it won't be working. So the best option is to get the ID, because there is always a unique ID that is attached to every Twitter account that is created, and that ID never changes. So right here, I'm going to do that. Instead of this, I'm going to say that and I won't reference the name. Instead, I'll reference the ID. I don't know if that tab is still open where I was showing you, the different values. For example, an ID of that every account has an ID. So to get that ID, um, I go API, verify credentials, right? And so this um, references uh, this particular API, the Twitter develop account, the developer of a Twitter developer account. But this won't give me the ID. So I'm going to create a variable here, right? Okay, I'm going to call it user equal to this. And then I'm going to say, yes. So here I will comment user. Let me just comment this out for a second. If I print user, let me see what I get. So it gives me a whole object. That could be very sensitive information. But what I want right now is the ID. Right. So let me print that and see. Yes. So this is the ID of my account. So meaning here, I'm going to say that instead of checking, is it? Instead of checking, where is this? This check if the user, if the ID is not mine. Okay, so that should work fine. I'm just going to test it out here. I'm going to just create a tweet, like quick. And so before making changes, if we had run that script, it would have tweeted this. Let me just create another. So I just want to run this and see if I'm not tweeting and liking my own stuff, right? I'll get rid of this and run the program again. Um, okay, cool. It's definitely going to take a while because it's going to run through like uh, 20 items, right? Like and retweet 20 20 tweets. So now it's complete. Before it goes into another cycle, I'll just stop it and then I'll refresh this and we see. Okay, so this liked and retweeted, liked and retweeted. Yes, so this is running fine. You can see I've not liked or retweeted my own stuff, which is what we want. Okay, so now that is working fine. Uh, the next step is to deploy this. I'm going to deploy this online so that it runs continuously because if I don't do that, then it will just stop running when I shut down my computer or when my internet disconnects. I want to, host it online on a virtual server where it will keep running forever. So the virtual server I'm going to use is called Heroku. I'm certain a lot of people know it. And since I want to deploy it online, I don't know if I explained this function, but this function is just creating a random time for running, right? So you see random time. And so I'm just saying let this app, because it gives a range between different values. I'm saying let it run between 3 hours. Is that right? Yeah, 3 hours and 5 hours. So between every 3 hours, but let me change that, put it to two, and put this probably to six, right? So between 2 hours and 6 hours, I should be tweeting something, and I should be um, also retweeting and liking people's tweets. But I want to change this. I want to say random tweets. I don't want the frequency of I don't want the frequency of thing. I don't want that's okay. I don't want the frequency of retweeting and liking to be the same as a tweet. Maybe I'll be tweeting between every 2 hours to 6 hours, but I think I want to make sure that I'm liking and retweeting people's stuff at least every 2 hours. Um, okay, so this app right here, I'm going to change the sleep time. Yeah. Okay. So that is fine. Now we are ready to deploy this app on Heroku. To do that, you need to have an account on Heroku. Just go and type in Heroku go to the website, create an account if you don't have one already. I'm definitely not going to walk you through the process of opening up an account and all that stuff. But if you want that, there are definitely a lot of videos online. Maybe I'll be doing a video with time, but not now. So you can see I'm in my Roku account. I deleted the apps that I had, so this is just a new account. So you're assuming that you're also just. I'm now going to add some files to my directory, and one of the files I'm going to add is called the requirements.txt file, and that file contains requirements that we need to keep to make this application run. So, like the libraries that we've been installing and the dependencies and all those things. So, we say pip freeze. Okay, so you can see we have it right here, and you can see it has a number of things that we are going to need, c2py and .env and all those files. Then the next thing is we need to also create um, a file called runtime. For that, we'll just say runtime.txt. Um, so this file specifies the version of Python that we are going to that our app will use. Um, 3.8.3. Yes. Okay, that's done. Now, the other file that we need to add is called gitignore. So that file is important because it notifies Git of the files that we won't be putting online. For example, this file, the env, the .env file that contains our credentials, that one will not go online. So it's called .ignore. No, git ignore. So now that file we have to go online and okay, so it's this. I'm just going to copy everything here and put it here. Okay. Okay, so now we have everything we need. We have the requirements. The requirements the txt that tells Heroku all the third-party libraries that we imported that we need to use to enable app to run. Then we have a runtime that specifies the version of Python that we are using to run our app. So, and we have a dot get ignore file uh, that ignores Heroku on what files to ignore. So the next step now is to initialize Git, and so for that we'll say Git init. Step now is to log into our Heroku account. To do that, we are going to say Heroku dot login, and maybe what I did mention is that you should also install the Heroku command line interface. Um, I already have it installed. If you don't, you're going to need it to be able to run stuff online. Okay, see it here. So you'll need to install it if you don't have it already. I already have it installed, so I'll just skip that step and go back here. So say Heroku login, and so that should open a browser and prompt you to log in. You already have it open, but you will still open the browser, a different tab. Okay, so yeah, see, it prompts me to log in. Okay, so now that I'm logged in, if I go back to the terminal, yeah, you should see that I'm logged in. So now the next thing is to create our app. Back in Heroku, on my dashboard, you see that I don't have an app yet. Even if I refresh, see I don't have an app. So now I'm going to create an app. And to create an app, you say Heroku create. And yes, so I have an app and it is called this. So this is its name. Now, if I go back to Heroku, you should see that app. It's right here. So the next step now is to add my credentials, my app's credentials from the .m file. So this, to do that, you go to Heroku, open your app. Um, Go to settings and then reveal config. So then you're going to start entering these values as you have them here. So app key, second value pairs. So you enter the key and you enter the value as well. Click add. You're going to have to add all of them. Okay. So now okay. Now that part is done. Now The next part is we need to create another file called procfile. And so procfile gives a command to the server to run. So it's called start with capital P. You can see it has already changed the icon. And so in this file, specify that this is a worker and it's not a web app. So then we say up, Python app.py. So you can see this is usually the command that we use um, when we are running our applications in the terminal. And so this is the same thing that we are doing. We are, telling Heroku to run this file. So that is done. Okay. So now the next step is to create a connection between our local repository and the Heroku repository for our account. And to do that, the command is Heroku git remote -a, and then the name of our application. Um, this is its name, right? Let's run that. Okay, so now been linked, and now that they are linked, as you can see here, set git remote and to our app. So it means now they are linked. So the next step right now is to add the files. And okay. So you can see if you're using VS Code, you can see that has changed to show you that changes have been staged. So then we have to commit them. So now you can see the files have have been committed, but you see that the .m file that contains our credentials hasn't been committed. Okay, so now that that step is done, the next step is to have Heroku install all the requirements and that we need to. Right, so now that that is done, the next step is to have Heroku start installing all the dependencies, all the third-party libraries that we specified in the requirements of txt file, and get our app ready to start working. So for that, I answer to git push Heroku master. If everything is fine, yes, we should see it installing most of the stuff in the requirements.txt file. Um, Looks like we have an issue because the push has failed. Okay, so the issue seems to be from here, the Python version. Let me just Google here to see what version could be allowed, or let me just I'll just add this 0.9. And that means I'm going to edit this and change to that. Then if I have to come back and add them afresh. Okay, so you can see it is installing all the requirements. Very good. So the app has been deployed, um, which is a good thing now. There's one more thing I need to do. So the next command is to specify to Heroku that we are actually running a worker and not a web app, because it essentially just assumes that you're running a web app. So we need to specify that. And the command to do that is Heroku ps scale worker equals 1. If you run that, yes, our app should start running. Great. So you can see now running worker. So if we go back to our app, let's refresh it and view the logs. Let me first run this locally. Okay, it's working fine locally, um, but it isn't doing the same on Heroku. Um, I think I need to check this out to my Heroku dashboard and look at the logs. I'll see that everything is working fine. It has tweeted And definitely the reach limit has reached because I've been uh, I'd made it to just run every few seconds so that I could test. And if I go to my Twitter account, you can see it has been tweeting. This is a tweet that we've seen in the Heroku dashboard. Yeah. Um, I'll just check again to confirm it is the one, but yeah, everything is working fine now. Uh, so yeah, it has sent a lot of tweets, and that's why I hit the rate limit. You can see these have just been tweeted. So that's a good thing. That means the app is working fine. Um, I've just tried to make a few changes here and there. Um, I also have to change these values here. Yeah. Okay, so between 4 and 2. So now that I've made those changes, I'm going to add them again to Heroku, commit them so that I'll push them. Okay, so my app should be running very fine now. Okay, yeah, so I want to see this. So that's it, guys. My app is working fine and everything is okay. So thanks for watching. If you have any questions, you have any inquiries, don't hesitate to leave a comment in the section below. I will put my number as well, just in case you need to reach out. You can text me on WhatsApp or just give me a call. All right. Thank you guys for watching. I really, really appreciate it. This was the third video. Thank you so much for making time to sit around and I hope you've learned some